Hi everyone, so welcome to Happy Back. This video is a strong focus on the spine and the back. So we've got that one focus we're going to look at here. We're going to have some floor poses and movements to help release tension in the back, and also to really look and zone in a little bit more at your alignment. So about keeping everything just in check with the back, which will obviously help overall posture as well. So if you as well have any kind of niggly bits in the back or a bit of tension there, this is also a really good video for that. So it'll be a good one for you. So we're going to start seated for this one today. So come and find a space, cross the legs. Okay. So just find a nice comfortable position. Now for this one, you have an option here to raise the hips slightly, because sometimes in a seated position, it can be challenging sometimes to keep the spine lengthened and long, and I want you to be as comfortable as possible here. So I'm going to use a block actually myself. So if you want to, you don't have to use a block, you can use a cushion or something else. So it's just nice to just raise the hips. And you can feel when this happens, it just helps relax everything a little bit more in the upper body, okay? Rather than thinking, oh, shoulders back, So once you've found that place, you're just going to rest your hands just onto your knees. Close your eyes. Let's just bring ourselves into our space first. Before we even think about moving, just focus on the position that you're in. So make sure the hips are comfortable. And that the spine is lengthened. And that your shoulders are relaxed. And keeping the eyes closed, just check in with yourself. So maybe just take a self-scan from the top of your head all the way down towards your hips. And just feel that length through your spine. Try and feel this slight energy just pulling you up from the crown of your head, while staying nice and anchored down through the hips. And just relax the muscles in the face. Try not to hold any tension in the jaw or in the brow. And just shift your focus to your breath. Slowly control the breath in and out through the nose. And just keeping that pace, keeping that natural rhythm. I'd like you to now just take your right ear towards your right shoulder. You're just tilting the head to one side. And just notice the stretch down the side of the neck. And as your head tilts, keep those shoulders relaxed and keep the spine long. Don't lean to that side, just moving through the neck. And then you're going to take another breath and then just find the other side. Again, just keeping those shoulders softened. Okay, and then from here, just bring your head back to the center. We're now going to start to just work through the spine a little. So what I'd like you to do is just push your chest forward as if you're trying to arch through the lower back. And then as you breathe out, you're going to round through the spine. Just let the shoulders drop forward and think about trying to hollow the front of your body. So this is a bit like you're taking up and downward facing cat. Okay, you know, like what we do on all fours. We're just doing this but seated. So you want to keep the hands on the knees, mainly to just help keep the balance rather than rocking back. So you're breathing into open, really drive the chest forward, bring those shoulders back, and then as you exhale, just reverse that feeling. So you're really just thinking about working through the two extremes. So we're breaking that mold of lengthening, and we're thinking about now pushing the chest open and then closing the body as you release. And just notice any sensations, any feelings that you have here as you move. You can start to let the neck go a little bit with it as well. So maybe when you round through the spine, you drop the head forward, and then maybe take the head and eye gaze up as you push the chest forward. Okay. And then we're going to break this mold and just start to circle around. So we're just going to take a little flow here through the back. And I want you to take a circle round to the right and left 4 times each way, just in your own time. So continue to breathe with this. Inhale as the chest comes forward, exhale as you round to the back. And then you're just going to reverse this, and again, obviously do it 4 times the other way. Don't push it to a point where it feels uncomfortable. Just take your time and try to keep those hips grounded. So you're just isolating the upper body from lower body here. Okay. After that, just bring your spine back to neutral. So you're just going to find that length again. Just take a little wriggle if you need. So keep that length through the back, just lift up through the chest. Now you're going to take your arms above your head. Now just exhale and let the shoulders come down. Okay, so often when we lift our arms in any kind of movement, what happens is the shoulders can start to disconnect and lift. Okay, so what we actually want to do is get those shoulder blades coming down the back. If you have your palms facing forward, let's just do this a few times. So we're just going to let the shoulders come and disconnect, lift up towards the ears, and then you're going to let the shoulder blades slide down your back. You should feel that in your shoulder girdle. And then that way you find more length in the neck. So breathe in, lift, exhale down. You might just notice slightly that actually my hands need to come a bit wider, because here I can feel the shoulders are quite tight. So for the shoulder blades to come down, I actually just need to take my arms out in a bit of a V. Let's just do this a couple more times. Then you're going to keep your shoulders down. That's the feeling we want to keep. And you're going to take yourself over into a side bend now. So bring one hand down towards the floor. Okay, fingertips, palm. We're not thinking about depth here. We're thinking about lifting up, keeping that length through the back. Keeping the chest open. Now continue that feeling, but just take it over into a slight side bend. Okay, so we're not aiming to reach really far. We're thinking about keeping everything in the spine in line. So we want to lift up and over, and then keep those shoulders back. Don't let that top shoulder start to roll forward like this. We want to really open and keep everything facing the front. And breathe here. So we're going to take a few breaths in, exhale slowly. If you want to try and go further, you can, but just stay in a comfortable place that you can to stay in this position now. Okay. And then let's try that on the other side. So we lift up again, let the other hand come down. So before we even go over to the side, think lifting up, energy through that hand, but keep that shoulder down. And then as you exhale, just soften over, keeping that shoulder back. You might find there's quite a difference on each side. Yeah. I know for me, I find this side a lot easier. I can stretch a little bit further down the right side of my body. So it really just depends where you're holding tension in the back. Yeah. Good, just a couple more breaths. then just slowly rise, bring yourself back to the center. Just lift your arms up once more, and then just exhale, let them go. All right, and then just let your shoulders roll a few times just to get any tension out. And we're going to then find our way onto all fours. So you can remove the block or cushion if you have one. Okay, and then just going to come over onto all fours. So just bring your weight into the hands and knees then. So wrists underneath the shoulders, knees under hips. Relax your feet. So we're going to take up and downward facing cat, or you might know as cat and cow. So just start with your spine neutral. So everything is straight. Tummy is engaged. And then we're going to work through those two extremes like we did seated. So as you breathe in, slowly open the chest and lift the tailbone up. As you exhale, we round through the spine and release. So just do this a few times. Just get this movement into the body. And just connecting that breath with your movement as well. So we're breathing in to open, and then we're exhaling to close. Try and do this with your eyes closed as well. Now moving through this, you might already find that there are some parts of your back that might be feeling more tense, maybe some parts that are moving more freely. What I'd like us to do now is try and find this, sort of dive deeper into this and explore this more. So we're going to now try and create this rippling effect through the back. So I'm going to try and show this the best I can. So when you come into your up cat, you want to think about leading from the head to the tailbone. And then when you reverse it and take down cat, you're starting from the tailbone towards your head. Okay, so from here I'm going to move my head, lift it first, then I'm going to try and open the chest. Keep the tailbone as still as you can, and then open. Okay, tailbone should be the last thing to lift realistically. Then to reverse this, you start from the tailbone, so don't let the head move just yet. Ripple through the whole spine, so you're working through every vertebrae. Mid back, shoulders, then the neck releases, and then the head drops down. Okay, so you're really slowing this down, starting from the head, shoulders, mid back, lower back, then the tailbone. As you breathe in, and then as you exhale, just reverse that. Okay, so you're sort of working back and forth. This can take a bit of time to get used to. Yeah, it can feel a little bit tense, so don't force it, but try your best to really try and isolate every part of your back. You probably have noticed if I'm doing this right. Now I know I have a little bit of tension in my mid back, so I do find it very challenging actually when I'm opening to not lift that tailbone yet, because if you're holding tension in a part of that area, it's going to be hard to kind of work through it. Your body's going to want to skip to the next bit, if that makes sense. So just have a couple of goes with this, okay? Just take another moment or so, just have another play. All right. After you finish this, you might feel a bit of tension in the back, okay? So if you want to just take a little wriggle in the hips or just roll through the spine, you can. But we're then going to sit back to child's pose and just release the lower spine. So child's pose is always a great pose to take to release tension from that back. So bring the feet together, knees just outside hip width, and then just gently let the hips come back towards your heels. Your arms can either stretch in front, or you can rest your head onto your hands, or even head on the floor, arms behind you. So just find a place that works for you in child's pose, okay? Really try and use the out breath to relax the hips down, feel that softening through the lower back, and make sure the knees are comfortable as well, Okay, so the knees, some people do prefer them closer together, some people prefer them a lot wider, so just really have a play with that and find what works for you personally. And just stay there and just focus on breathing, very slowly, controlled. This is about relaxing tension from the body. Yeah, tension from your back. So we don't want to force anything. Okay. Now from here, what we're going to do now is slightly change this movement. So we're now going to just lift up onto all fours. Okay, you are going to push back into child's pose again, but we're going to do this in a slightly different way. Rather than thinking about softening through the back, we're going to think about keeping the length in our back through our whole spine. Okay, so we're sort of working the muscles a bit more rather than releasing. We're focusing on getting those muscles to be in line. Everything sort of just click into place. So you're going to start just with your hands in front. Your hands are going to be the thing that's supporting you with this. Okay, so knees just outside hips. When you push your hips back, rather than thinking about just collapsing and where we start to round through the back, we want to keep everything long, okay? So this has actually got a bit of strong core focus as well. So just come to that point where you're about to sit the hips down, okay? Your hands are literally just there to support you. So you're going to engage through the tummy muscles. Think belly button to spine. You want to keep the back flat. So you should realistically be able to rest something on your back. And then follow that line all the way up through the top of your body towards your shoulders and your neck. So your eye gaze stays down. You're going to push back as far as you can. Try and keep everything in line. Okay? So keep the back as straight as you can and sit your hips back towards the heels as far as possible. So I know I can't come any further because I'm going to start to round through the back. So I'm just going to hold there at that point. Okay? So just engage. Squeeze shoulder blades together. Sometimes I can feel maybe I'm just arching a little bit. If you do have a mirror or something to look at, this definitely helps. But you will feel the hips working. You'll probably feel the back of the hamstrings as well. But this is a really good way to just get the core muscles engaged and just get your back to stay in line. And just feel everything click into place. Yeah? So you have to kind of keep bringing your attention to different parts. So shoulders, has the tummy disengaged? Has the lower back started to release? Okay, just take one more breath and then exhale, let it go. So there we go, you've got that nice release at the end there. And you can feel all the muscles that have had to work there. So just take a moment to let that go and just relax. So another movement now that we're going to work on, another exercise we can do to help strengthen the back muscles. So this is going to focus now on your upper back, so your postural muscles, to help bring the shoulders back and just create that better overall posture. So we're going to come onto our front in a prone position. Okay, so you're going to let your hips come down and we're going to work from the floor up into cobra. So cobra, just to recap, is this position. So we do this and use this a lot in our sun salutations. So we're going to sort of just work up and down through this. So your hands are going to actually be placed palms on the floor. You're going to be pressing down and you want your thumbs, I kind of aim to place my thumbs in line roughly with the top of my rib cage. So they are actually further back than you think. Your elbows, you want to squeeze them in as tight as you can. Your eye gaze will be down. And then from your lower body, you're squeezing the glutes. Feet are just slightly apart there, about hip width. Okay? And you can already feel here, when the elbows come in, that the shoulders want to start to squeeze together as well. So try and continue that feeling. Try not to let the shoulders drop down. keep them back. Now that everything is engaged and we're ready to move, we're going to breathe in. We're going to push our hands into the floor. You're going to squeeze the glutes harder. You're going to squeeze the muscles in the upper back to lift your chest from the floor, and then just look forward. As you exhale, you're then going to slowly lower down. Okay? So depending on how it feels, you might not want to go as high. You might just keep the eye gaze down and just slightly lift to begin with. Exhale and release. Okay? You can let the muscles just relax a bit at the bottom there. So as you lift, engage, look at these shoulders, try and get them down the back. Okay? And just repeat this a few more times to yourself, okay? Another thing to think about when you're coming up and down, remember at the beginning where we did this, try and think about that action. So when you're pushing up, your shoulders are sliding down the back still. They're not dropping forward and not lifting. You want to think about them pulling back and down. So tiny movement, but oh my gosh, can you feel it? So this is why shoulders get warm in sun cells. Okay, let's just do one more. You can of course repeat this as much as you like, as much as your body feels ready to there. Okay, so from here, what I'd like you to do is push, find all fours. Okay, next pose we're going to look at is downward facing dog. So downward dog is a brilliant pose for everything really. It works, stretches out the legs. It helps build strength in the shoulders. A really good one as well, so back-wise, to keep everything in line in the back. So we're going to do a couple of exercises here in down dog. So first, let's just find the position. So to take downward dog, I always bring my hands just a little bit further forward than all fours. It really does sometimes depend just on your arm and leg length. So we're going to tuck the toes, lift the knees and hips. We're going to push through the hands, keeping them just about shoulder width there. Soften the knees. Okay, so we're going to keep the knees bent to begin with. Feet hip width apart. So let's focus on the back. So your arms are long, your shoulders, we want to bring them down the back. You're going to soften the knees, and then you're going to push your chest forward towards your thighs and engage the tummy muscles. So if I disengage from the tummy muscles, this is what would happen. Yeah, I'd actually exaggerate the movement, and I'd arch through the back slightly. So I want to just engage and push that chest open. What can also happen is the reverse of this. Some people can start to just round. All that happens there is actually sometimes maybe the legs are too lengthened, and we're starting to put more pressure into the hamstrings than the back. So what we want to do is soften here so that we can lengthen here. Okay? So just hold that position for a few breaths. Really just feel your downward dog. Keep your eye gaze towards the feet so the neck doesn't start to disconnect from the rest of your back. And then just come down and rest onto the knees, okay? So we're going to come up to that again. Yeah, you can really feel that in the arms, can't you? So what we're going to do now is we're going to come up to down dog again. Best to explain on the knees. So you're going to come into down dog. Imagine I'm here. What we're going to do is shoulder shrugs, okay? So we're going to lift and let the shoulders completely collapse towards the ears. Then we're going to engage the upper back muscles and bring them down. We're going to lift, and then we're going to bring them down, okay? So let's find that when you're ready. So come to down dog. Knees soft, spine lengthened, core engaged. So you're going to let those shoulders come up to the ears. And then as you exhale, slide the shoulder blades down your back. Find that space between the ears. Okay. So we'll get your shoulders nice and warm as well. This is a good way to really get that back to stay nice and long. Good. Breathe in, breathe out. Let's try this once more. And then from here, we're going to take a walk forward towards our hands and take the forward fold. So feet underneath the hips. So soften the knees, keep the feet hip width apart, and just let the neck and shoulders relax. So we're rounding through the back here. Like in child's pose, we're releasing. So bend your knees as much as you want. Just let the upper body hang nice and freely. And then we're going to slowly take our time to lift. So roll up through the spine. If you need to use your hands on your legs to support you, you can. So you're going to just lift, come up, and let your head rise. Okay? So from here, we're going to take a little spinal flow. Right? This is a nice way to really just release and let everything in the back go and loosen. So I'm going to show you facing the front. So you're always going to keep the feet slightly apart, and the reason for that is to take any pressure away from the lower back. If we have our feet together, naturally the lower back can build tension. Not all of us will feel this, but it's safer to just keep the feet apart. So spread out the toes. Just feel where the weight is naturally shifting in the feet first. Okay, and just relax those shoulders. And as you're standing, just engage through the core. Think about the tailbone, just energy drawing down towards the floor. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take one arm up, reach above the head, shoulders relaxed. You're going to exhale and just take a side bend. Okay, so just reach over. You're going to breathe into the center. You're going to let the arm go, and then you're going to repeat that on the other side. So lift, take your side bend, come up, and then let the arm go. Okay? So just repeat each side, take your time, and notice how this feels in the back. If there's any tension in the lower back, what you can do is soften your knees. So as you exhale, come into that side bend, breathe into the middle, and then release the arm. And just feel the tummy muscles stay engaged. I'm just going to knock a lamp. It's the thing when you're filming at home. It's going to happen. Okay. Now on the next one, what I'd like you to try and do now is lift. We're then going to come all the way over. And I want you to continue this momentum round. So we're actually going to drop into a fold just about halfway. Okay? So you're relaxing the shoulders, you're releasing through the neck. Then you're going to roll up through the center. Okay? You're going to find that length in the legs and the back again, and let your head be the last thing to rise. Okay? So we're going to repeat that on the other side. So you're going to lift, take your side bend over. Bend your knees here and continue that momentum forward. Releasing through the spine. And then roll up through the center. Okay, and repeat. If this doesn't feel right in the back, because for some of us we might just need warming up a little bit more, you can keep going with the side bends, okay, so right and left. And what you might want to do is separate that last movement and maybe just take some roll downs and roll ups. Okay, so you might want to just keep everything a bit more neutral to begin with. So that's the option if you want to take that. If you're quite happy to just link the two together, let's take another side bend over. Continue the momentum round. Drop the head forward, release. You can go as low as you want in that fold. It's really up to you. Okay. So breathe in, exhale, follow that round. Release forwards and roll up. Okay. And then just continue at your own pace. So as you're reaching into the side bend and falling into that fold, let's try and keep the weight even through the feet. So notice if you're leaning into one side more than the other. Take your time with it. This is really about slowing everything down, finding your natural pace and listening to your back. Okay, because there may be parts of your back that feel tension or any niggly bits. Call them niggly bits. The bits where you're like, oh, okay. So listen to your body. Okay, don't force it if it feels uncomfortable. You know, even if that is still there, you can take your time through it. Okay, so it might just mean going a little bit slower. Okay. So I want you to just repeat this once more to each side. And then you're just going to come back up. Let your head rise. Okay. If you need to take any other additional movements here, you can. And then when you're ready, we're going to take ourselves back down to a seated position. So come down however you like. From here, come straight onto your back. Okay. So we're going to stay on our back to keep the back long, keep the spine lengthened. Okay. We're seated. Like I've said before, sometimes we need to just keep that block there to keep the spine straight. So coming on to the back is a nice easy way to just keep it naturally lengthened. And what we're going to do is actually just bring the knees in to the chest. So bring your hands over the knees, pull them in, just feel the back round. And then we're going to let the knees just come away from us, lengthen the arms and just feel the back lengthen there. So feel the difference as you pull the knees in to when you let the knees come away. And we're just doing this a few times just to find a bit of release. Relax the shoulders and just let the knees move. We do this a lot in class as well, and the flows. It's a nice way to just relax the spine at the end of a session as well. Okay. And find that connection with the breath as well. So as you let the knees come away, we take a deep breath in. And when the knees come towards you, we exhale. Okay. Then what I'd like you to do from here is just let the feet find the floor. So you're going to keep the feet flat, hip width apart. Your arms are going to stay by your side. Okay. I just want you to relax the shoulders, palms facing down. Don't engage anything here through the tummy just yet. Just completely relax and just feel where your lower back naturally is to the floor in this position. Okay. Just check and make sure the neck is lengthened, so the chin isn't tucked in or you're taking it too far back. It's just natural. And just take a few breaths. Okay, so what we're going to do is a very subtle movement. It's going to be really good for the lower back, especially if you get tension there. So again, is a really nice one to release. So what we're going to do is, I don't know if you can see, I'll just take my arms out so you can see. So we're actually going to now exaggerate this movement. So you know, like when we take upward facing cat on all fours, it's kind of like that movement with just the back. So you're going to push, kind of flare the rib cage out so the hips stay down, and you want to create as much space between the lower back and the floor. So you want to just push, and I want you to hold that for 3 breaths. So that's in and out. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay, so hold that position, keep that arch in the back. And then on the last breath, release and just soften, okay? So then you come back to that position that you were in before. Just relaxing, not pushing the lower back into the ground, just letting it sit where it wants to go. So let's find this again. So we're going to arch the back, hold there for 3 breaths. So really feel that energy down the lower back. Feel that energy through the front of the body as well. Okay. And then you're going to release and just relax. Let all that tension go. So let's try that one more time. 3 breaths. Hold it there, just arching through the back. And then just relax. And then the last pose I'd like you to stay in. You can either do this with the legs straight, or you can have the soles of the feet together and let the knees come out. You're just going to lay on your back, but if you have anything at home like a cushion or a pillow, I'd like you to just support your back a little bit more. So when you lay back, try and place the pillow sort of from the top of the lower back towards the mid back, so that when you lay back here, your lower back is supported, okay? Because sometimes when we're just lying on the floor and the pillow's not there, that's sometimes not comfortable for people in their lower back. You might be fine, and then that's the reason why sometimes we need to bend the knees so that we don't feel like we're straining. So if you place something there to support, okay, that way your lower back feels comfortable, and then your shoulders can actually just relax and open. So you will naturally feel more open in the chest as well. And your arms, just take them out wide, palms facing up. So if you want to use a cushion, you can. Just relax into it. Just feel that support. And just close your eyes and just take some deep breaths in and out. Just breathing at your own pace. Just try and soften on that exhale. Just find some space and release. Okay, now you can choose to stay here longer if you wish. Or if you like, you can just let those knees come in together, okay? Just to safely come out of this, just bend the knees, bring your feet flat onto the floor. It might feel nice from here to just roll onto one side. Just rest the head down, soften the knees to the floor. And then just take your time, just come back to seated, okay? So you can finish with the legs crossed. You can take a little longer here if you wish. Just take a few breaths. And then just let your hands come together and just tap the thumbs towards your forehead, lips, heart. And thank you. All right. So let me know how you get on. If you have any questions, do let me know. And that last part is, I've kind of left it a little bit free. You can spend a lot longer there if you want. It's a nice comfortable position. Once you're in it, it's like, oh, bliss. So yeah, have fun with that. Any questions, let me know. A lot of the movements we have done before, some of them are really just the core base moves. But if there's any questions you have, I'm here. All right. Have a good week. Bye.